Well, hello to you all again. This year's conference is focused on innovation. I think the most innovative thing of this year's conference is this panel. And I will give an explanation before I begin the discussion. Why on earth do we did it? Well, I had the opportunity in the last 4 or 5 years to meet some of the foreign GMs in Greece. And to my surprise, I heard some very interesting points. You are the guys that you're coming from another country. You work in 3, 4, maybe countries before you came to Greece. You have seen a lot of things. You see Greece neutrally from a distance. And you can speak the truth about us. Despite the fact that maybe you have some nasty things to say about Greece. But on the other hand, the most important things that you are saying are positive, not negative. I think we Greeks speak for ourselves a little bit negatively. So I think if, as a journalist, as a magazine, as a newspaper, a media man, and a stakeholder in this field, if I have one goal is to progress things in Greece, to make the system more transparent, more reliable, and build bridges between the stakeholders, the pharmaceutical companies, and the state, and build some trust between them. So this is our goal for this afternoon. We will speak about innovation in the pharmaceutical industry, what is really innovation, how much do we really need to spend on it, because Greece has 2 years to bring new drugs in the market, which are the major issues in the pharmaceutical sector, what can we do about it, we, not the state, just to overcome these problems. And of course, I'm really interested, and the audience, I think, just to hear from you some things about yourself, just to get to know you. And secondly, why on earth did you agree to take part in this panel? So, Karim, let's give us some brief info about yourself.
So, briefly about myself, I've been with MSD for the last almost 20 years. So I'm a
20 years, oh, yeah.
So I'm a long timer with the company.
A really MSD guy.
A real MSD guy. I have started in an island not very far from here in Cyprus.
Oh.
I spent there 5 years, then Dubai.
Did you get money in the Cyprus bank?
Luckily, I kept my money out of Cyprus for a long time. So 5 years in Cyprus as a marketeer, 3 years in Dubai as marketing director of the Gulf, 3 years in the US as marketing director for Europe for cholesterol and e-business, 4 years in France as business unit director for primary care, 2 years in Switzerland as chief marketing officer for MSD in Europe. And for the last 2 years, I have the honor of being with my colleagues at MSD Greece, trying to face the crisis and do our best to sustain the company and contribute as much as we can.
And you arrived in Greece last summer,
I arrived
2011.
in Greece summer 11, so at the right time when it was the eye of the storm. So I did not miss any fun.
So are you married?
I am married. I have 3 children who have been moving in all these countries with me. So we are...
I think they like Greece.
They like Greece very much. So we cannot ask for a better country to be. Oh.
Okay. Roberto, you like Greece? Is it true?
Yeah, let me start from the money, where I'm putting my money. So I'm struggling between Italy and Greece, and I'm moving money back and forth without. No, I cannot decide where it's more safe. So no, I'm originally Italian. I'm more than Italian. I'm from Rome. That is an important.
Double Italian.
Double Italian. So I've joined GSK actually a few months ago, September. Before I was with AstraZeneca here in Greece, but my background is not really in the pharmaceutical sector. I'm coming from fast-moving consumer goods, for which I've been working for almost 10 years in different countries, in different markets. And differently from Karim, I landed here in 2005. So I had the
You
luxury
experienced
of
the golden years.
enjoying the golden age, yes. Yeah, and I still live with some memories
When I first,
that now are, fading out.
I will make something public. When we first met, you said that there are more Ferraris in Athens than in Milan. Yeah. This was very surprising.
With less plates.
I think there are more Ferraris in Politia than not in the old Milan. Yes.
Yeah. So you are married to a Greek.
I'm married with a Greek lady. So this means that I also have a Greek parent, Greek parents-in-laws.
Yeah. Oh my God!
And I mean,
They are not many.
you are Greek, so you know what does this mean.
They are not very different from the Italians' fathers. Yeah.
Yes, very much different. But again, let's not be complicated. It would be embarrassing. And I also have a child. It's 9 months. Active, energetic.
I don't see
never
any
sleeping,
black circles under your.
I have makeup.
Yeah. Okay. So Matthias is not from Kefalonia. You're not.
But I have to visit it because nobody believes I'm not from there. So, from my background, probably best described is similar to my colleagues. I'm a European citizen, Hungarian origin. That's a very typical Hungarian name, even though the Greeks might not believe that. But maybe it's like Smith in English.
Ah, okay.
I was working many years in Switzerland, studied there as well, medical school, university, finished it, and worked all over Europe, mostly also in Central and Eastern Europe. So I faced the golden ages there when every company got dollar signs in their eyes when investing in Eastern Europe, and I've seen so many healthcare systems collapsing. So Greece is not really surprising to me. I've seen it all. The scary thing is more, it all happens in one country, not in 10.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
and it was very sudden you're coming in Greece. You had other plans, and you.
Yes, my boss said Switzerland is good for you. Stay there a few years. And last late summer, Amgen decided let's invest in Greece. What the heck? I mean, that's biotech spirit, you know. Let's take the risk.
Okay. We will talk about this later.
Here and
we will talk about this later.
Last October, my
so
boss
you are
told
married
me
too?
you want to come to Greece.
You are married too?
I'm married, have a Russian wife, adding to kind of this European portfolio. A daughter, 6 years old.
And she's a clone of you. She's a clone of you, yeah.
People say she looks like me, poor child. Beautiful Russian wife, and she looks like me, but life is never fair, right?
Yeah. So, commissaries are not from Greek name?
Neither.
Yes, another Greek name, and I'm also not Greek, but finally I've come to a place where everyone says, oh, you must be Greek, so I can at least say I've lived there. I'm from Holland originally, but I've never lived in Holland either. I grew up in Africa and the emerging market world. I work for AstraZeneca and I've been brought here to tidy up the mess that my friend Roberto created. I tell you, it's a big mess.
Yeah.
But I've been here 6 months in January. I feel like I've been here 2 years. It's been an interesting journey. I love living here. Before I lived in Brazil, and everyone goes, my God, why did you come here? Yeah. But Brazil is not what it's all set out to be. It's a tough place. You don't have the crime that they have there. You don't have the population that they have there. And I don't say this because of the Greek audience, but I think Greece is the best country to live in the world. It is absolutely true. So feel good.
You earn the heart of the audience.
It's true. I wouldn't say that in Brazil.
So let me ask you, why did you accept to take part in this conversation, in this discussion? Karim, maybe you will start.
Yeah, first of all, I think it's a real honor. And we rarely have an opportunity to get together to speak in an informal way. Every time it has to be a very formal speech. And we rarely get to express our own opinions in such a formal manner. Yeah. So to have, an informal discussion about our true reflections as, let's say, people who have been exposed to different environments, okay, I think is of real value. And frankly, you know, I hope I will humbly contribute, but I'm also here to listen and to learn. So
Yeah, okay.
I look forward to it.
You know, I'm on the same page. I mean, I think it's a very good format. It's a pleasure to have an open conversation. I think we have to recognize the fact that here we're not talking about you know, black and white, a straightforward solution. We are working in a lot of complexity, uncertainty. So a solution can be found only through interaction, through exchange of ideas, and the more we do it, the better it is. So I'm very pleased to be here.
Okay. So Matthias,
Yeah.
from your point of view?
I'm here because you asked me to, right?
Okay.
He paid you.
That's a good explanation.
But mostly it's a great opportunity for us as well to enter the dialogue equally with the new Minister of Health arriving here for breakfast with representatives of the industry, to start an intense dialogue to create a sustainable healthcare system. And as my colleagues mentioned already, we can't overly have a dialogue ongoing. Yeah. So it's a great start, a lot of work upcoming still.
So Commissaris, you know, 6 months here in Greece.
6 months here in Greece, and you know, it's a great opportunity for me as a representative of AstraZeneca. We're probably one of the few companies that only bring to market prescription medicines. So we don't have OTC, we don't have consumer, we don't have generics. And so often our real innovation-driven agenda gets a little bit lost.
A real pharma.
We are the innovation pharma. In fact, our chief executive has stated that our mission is to bring best-in-class or first-in-class products. We don't look for anything other than that.
High expectations.
Which is why we have no pipeline. But you know,
well, we sold ours to you, right?
We might buy these guys.
No, we sold our pipeline to you, so it's okay.
So, but you know, SWE do a really good job trying to manage the interests of a broad spectrum of the industry. And I think for me, it's an opportunity to really share the view of a truly innovation-driven company. So thanks for the opportunity.
So, Karim unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to meet this morning the Minister of Health because he had other very serious matter to attend. I'm confident with this.
It is because we had the pleasure to announce today a new collaboration that we have on an important portfolio we have. So it was very unfortunate that I missed the breakfast. But, you know, Antonis Karoukis, my external affairs director, was there, and I already have a feel.
So from what you heard from the other guys and Antonis, what is your feeling about the meeting?
So I believe the general perception is very positive. I think all of us, we are looking forward to make progress into the agenda that we have with the state and with the health ministry. I think the overall reaction, which are very early, signal a true openness for dialogue and collaboration. And this is what we need, because if there are no bridges, if we are not able to sit down and talk openly about where the issues are, there's no way then we're going to improve. That's one. The second thing is there is clarity in terms of what the intent is, what the objective is, and how can we achieve that. And I believe this is critical, because if the agenda of the ministry is not clear, and there is no clear vision as to where we need to get and what we need to achieve, it can become very complex. So at least the vibes that I have are positive, and we look forward very much to collaborate and to contribute. Because we're in the same boat. This is how we see it at MSD. You know, the sustainability of the state and the funding and is totally correlated.
The minister said that the common interest of him and yours is the interest of succeeding the country. So Roberto, the minister said, I didn't know it, that his favorite city was Rome. So you have something in common. I thought that there was a good vibe there.
No, I think apart from like in Rome, that I found it absolutely normal. I think what he mentioned, that it's something that I really appreciate, is the fact that he has a kind of a board or something written behind his, in the wall behind his desk.
In
that
Latin.
is pacta sunt servanda. You know, it's really about respect for any obligation that you take and walk the talk. And I think it was a very good message from a politician in general. I agree that today we had a positive meeting. Of course, the guy is on board since a couple of weeks.
A week ago. Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I mean, he also has to see what are the real challenges now onward. But I think we had some good positive messages. I think.
But usually, when it's a day starting, you can see if it's nice from the early morning. So.
In Greece, no. You never know how a day is going to turn. I mean, it's.
No. Okay. Okay.
But I think it's again good messages like the one of recognizing the importance of trust. Messages like creating a working table for different stakeholders to contribute to shaping the
So, if he really does it, then it would be up to you to bring the ideas and help him build all these things.
I think it's part of our responsibility.
If a minister doesn't need your help, doesn't ask it, you can always say he didn't ask us, okay. But if he really asks you, then it would be up to you just to help him.
No, I think this is the benefit of being, companies that have experience, worldwide experience. I mean, it's also easier for us to bring in cases, experiences, models that have been proven successful in other countries that could be adopted in Greece in the future. I think this is where we can really contribute.
Yeah. Matthias, you asked something, the minister. Just to inform the audience, what was it? And did you made satisfied from the answer?
My question was how Greece intends to attract additional investments here, especially in the healthcare sector, of course, since we might be one of the few companies having invested a big amount, a lot of millions here in Greece, in expanding our portfolio, hiring people, getting new drugs onto the market. So we're a bit privileged. We can allow to do that these days. But the system will not change by one investment. So other companies have to follow. And to stabilize the country, to bring back growth, we need a lot of companies having double-digit growth in this country. So my question was, what he can do, or what Greece will do. I did not expect an answer. I wanted just to have it food for thought. He's too new in the job, 1 week. Greece has urgent priorities to solve, having Troika breathing down the neck, but I really want to sow the seed now that we think about long-term investments, because that's why, for example, we entered Greece. It's not we expect cash in our pockets today. Not in 200 days, maybe in 300 days if we're lucky, but it's a long-term investment.
I remember he said that this is the right time for foreign companies to invest in Greece because he's very low in order to get earnings after 5 or 10 years. So if you plan to invest now. That's what he said.
Yeah, this is also what Berlusconi was saying about Italy. I mean, let's, I want to see it. I think it's a good objective.
It's a catchy argument, but we're not in real estate, which is really down to the ground, I guess.
It was a weak point there from the minister that he said that Berlusconi was the favored guy.
Let's not say why.
Well, Commissaris, I think one interesting point was that the minister said, I don't want you to like me, I want you to trust me.
Yep.
I think this is a serious lack between you and other stakeholders and this ministry, the state. You had a very big accident with Crestor the last 3 months, so building trust is very important, okay? So it was a good message.
I think that's exactly what I took away from him, 3 things. The first thing was he wants to avoid surprises. So surprises are what we received with Crestor. And basically, he said, I'm going to make decisions in a transparent and a clear way, and some people will win and some people will lose. But it's a trust relation that he's trying to build. The second thing he said is, I'm going to stick to the rules. And I think it was in response to your question, you know. And, you know, as long as we stick to the rules, we may not like the rules, but at least we know who the rules are. And the third thing that I really like about the minister is he's a businessman. He's a commercial guy. He sold books. So he knows what we're trying to achieve, and there is a common agenda.
Thank God he was not selling drugs. Okay. So let's get more practical. Okay. One way or the other, the minister will take some action. He said he will build a working group with you and some other stakeholders. His goal is to have something very evidence-based in order to present it to the Troika on next September. So practically, what are the major issues here we're talking about that this working group will deal with? Is it only pricing, reimbursement, sustainability? What do you expect to discuss on this round table? What are your expectations from this?
I think the first expectation is the focus of the state and what is the objective that we're driving. Because if we restart again the budget control, we're back to square one, right? No matter who is the minister. So if we can somehow use this opportunity of a new minister to ensure that when we sit down and talk, we don't, pick it up what we left in our old discussions about does the budget needs to be 190? Because I can tell you, in our own companies, we make efficiencies every day. And I think we're very good at making efficiencies. The question is, where is the waste that we need to save? And where is the value that we need to invest on? And I believe that if we start there, anything that will come afterwards is going to be much better than whatever we had before. Much better. Okay. Just by sitting down and saying, where is the value? Where the state need to invest, put money, reimburse, and where the state should save because there is a need to save. Because up to now, the basics of how a real pharmaceutical market need to function are not in place in Greece.
Yeah. Well, the positive thing, I think, Roberto, was that he said that we will put down all the measures we have taken and see what worked and what not. This was very positive because he said that maybe we will change some measures.
Yeah, I think the very practical approach, and I like the fact that he is not talking about now jumping into new measure without evaluating what is working, what is not working. However, I think one determining factor is really, unfortunately, it's what's going to be the target for spending in 2014 and how much this will be negotiable with Troika. Because depending if we are landing at 2.3 or 2.1 or 1.9, this determines the need for a completely different type of approach. I think
he made clear that he will meet the targets, so no matter what.
I think he mentioned it very clearly, and I think also he was not equivalently clear, but I think my understanding is that he's also willing to negotiate on the target if this is not reasonable and feasible. So I think
he needs evidence.
Exactly, he needs evidence. I think this is a good starting point, a good approach. I think that the main problem, let's be honest, for Greece is that it's the entire sustainability of the healthcare system as it is that is under big question mark. We are all very familiar with indicators like per capita of physicians, per capita of pharmacists, per capita of wholesalers, penetration of generics, and so on and so forth. The question is, what is really the tool that will achieve the accomplishment of the different possible targets? I think we cannot ignore the fact that achieving the financial target is a must for this country. We have to be realistic. Yeah. So it's the challenge we have, or the paradox that we have.
Can go to Rome by sea or by plane or by train.
That's my point.
It's the way you do it.
Correct. The point is how much, if the target has to be achieved in the next few months, you have to find a realistic way to get there. The point is that so far we have been just thinking about how do we get to the next few months target, and for 5 years we have not been discussing how do we build a sustainable long-term.
Well, he said that his immediate goal is to set an intermediate step with the Troika. If Troika says we need 2 billion in the pharmaceutical sector, he will ask to be in an intermediate goal to 2.2 for the next 6 or 9 months, and then 2 billion. So this was a clear point that he has a clear view of the problem. So, but in all of this discussion, do we have room for innovation, Matthias? You are an innovative company in Greece, you invest in Greece. Karim told about the value of all these things.
Absolutely. So maybe I'm not so positive with the messages so far I heard. It's a great step forward, but just because we have a head of a ministry which is very positive, which wants to drive the agenda, it did not convince me that his team is confident, that they're comfortable with the goal setting, that they know they're true experts in what they're deciding. So today also I heard, and that was very meaningful to me, a lot of inconsistencies of how we approach the future in healthcare. And what we like to hear about is the sustainability of healthcare. And this is approached over many different areas. I mean, we started about prevention, about diagnostics, about, of course, essentially then what you want to hear about our industry, but it cannot be focused only on our industry. Otherwise, again, we kind of paint the roof and the foundation is missing.
Yeah.
So there is room for pharmaceutical innovation if we approach it the right way. So we heard it a lot of in Karin's speech. Efficiency savings in hospitals, in pharmacies, in generic prices are far above what other countries, competitive environments are doing, like in Germany or in the Netherlands, to free up money for innovation.
So you come from a part of the world that, as you said at the beginning, you saw collapsing health systems.
Absolutely, and it
Karim
was because there was no system.
Yeah, and Karim told that there are in other countries that have the same sustainability problem with Greece. Yeah. Not all this kind of.
But we have to make sure that innovation gets acknowledged first of all, and that's where we're struggling much more than what we read in the media about arrears. Yes, we face issues. We have liquidity issues if the government does not pay us, if EOP or the hospitals don't pay us. But we live as innovative industry by new drugs getting accessible, because our goal is, and every company has similar mission statements, to serve patients, to help patients, to make their lives better. That's why we do research.
And it would be the minister's initial goal to bring the new
drugs to the market.
Yes.
His goal should be this, not yours.
He told it that is also his goal. I'm just not convinced that his work group understands based on what criteria.
Maybe it's
because that's where I think we need to collaborate, and also, as it was stated, patients are missing,
maybe
etc.
it's a big task, a difficult task for your companies to bring evidence to this, to the minister.
We have
bring evidence about innovation. And
I think that the misperception is that innovation costs more. Automatically, because it's innovation, it's more expensive. And of course, when
in terms of paying, yes.
No, but it isn't.
It is.
If you're talking about orphan drugs or very, very niche products, yes, those are very expensive, and they do treat patients. But there are also innovations in the diabetes world, for example, and they don't cost more. Mm-hmm. In fact, it staggers me that there is no new product approved here in 2.5 years in the European Union, where patients in Germany and in the UK are accessing diabetes products which are not expensive, where they are not suffering weight gain. Yeah. Weight is a problem not only for the patient, but it's also the productivity challenge. It creates other costs to the healthcare economy. And I just think we need to get away from this notion that innovation is expensive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's
not
what we as an
industry... on
expenditure, exactly. We as an industry need to explain that to the doctor. I mean, in the previous regime, I sat many times in front of the key stakeholders, and they kept saying, we don't want to launch new products because they are expensive.
Yeah. What can you...
We have to find alternative ways to release money, as Karim very clearly showed in his presentation.
I think one challenge we have today is that definitely we need to be focused on the budget, because I agree with Roberto. There is no way we should not, achieve
when
the
you talk to when you talk to your boss, You don't talk about the budget?
Sure. So there is no discussion there, but there is a question about should we be just discussing the 1.9 and the 2.1? Because for me, the real topic is how is that budget utilized? Because if I compare the way the budget is utilized, for example, in Greece, as to compare to another country that I knew very well, like France, first of all, the budget over there is not a global budget. The budget over there is divided by disease entity. How is it divided by disease entity? Based on the medical burden. Meaning, if in Greece, disease A, B, C, D has this prevalence, and consequently there is this unmedical need, and so the government, the state says, my priorities for the health of my citizens, it starts like this, needs to be 1, 2, 3, based on my patients.
So your suggestion is to become French?
No, my suggestion is to care more about the patient. This is my suggestion. Not to be French, to think more
to go reverse.
Citizens, okay? To say, so which is the most, the biggest problem I have medically in Greece? What is the prevalence of diabetes versus the prevalence of cholesterol? What is in oncology, the different malignancies that I have? And consequently, where do I need to allocate money? Because I can tell you, the money is not correlated today with the need of is not correlated. Yeah. So, and this is what I'm saying, sounds very bad or relatively bad for the industry because we have product objectives and we need to sell them. Yeah, but it's non-sustainable. If I am today being utilized in a wasteful manner in a patient that does not need to pay X, then this is just non-sustainable. In a year, 2 or 3, is going to collapse. So the way it's done, for example, in France, is that there is a budget by disease entity, there is a negotiation by disease entity as to the value I bring, the value Roberto brings, each one with his product based on evidence-based science. This is what we can do in terms of patient outcome, and consequently, this is the access, because I spoke about how to manage access with quality. So the access that is provided is based on the quality of outcome you can provide. If the quality can be delivered with a cheap generic, let us all use the cheap generic.
So, Roberto, we must agree that we have come a long way. We are in better position today than it was last year or the year before. We had a prescription system, not ideal, but we have it. It's a question if the data from this system is used properly. I think you don't have access on it. We don't have access on it. So this is a point. And for you to ask the minister to exploit this data in favor of the state and in favor of yours.
I think this is part of the efficiency that we've been discussing. It's there are real things like protocol, like a number of initiatives that can be taken to rationalize the spending.
But we implemented all together.
But the point is, we have legislated altogether. Implemented,
implementing
is a different word.
Right. As an Italian, you understand.
Yeah, very well. I think the point about innovation is, again, if something has been recognized as innovative in other countries that have a well-structured system to assess what is the value that is generated by innovation, I'm struggling to understand how Greece can say that this is creating additional cost, because the constriction, the issue of containing the spending is not a Greek issue. It's a worldwide. European issue. So they are a little bit more advanced in assessing innovation. So probably this is also a different way to look at the problem. The other thing is, drugs in Greece are priced, innovative drugs will be priced at the average of the 3 lowest. So again, this is another way to look at innovation and what is the real cost of the innovation.
You already implement the evaluation from other countries. Yeah.
The evaluation has been done, the pricing has been done. So here in Greece, we know that in the end, it's not about only prices, because behind the prices there are rebates, discounts, clawbacks, and so on and so forth. So the real cost of what we're talking about when we talk about cost of innovation is not just in a hypothetical.
Well, Mikael in his presentation told that it's time for the industry to accept that we must use products accordingly, according to the value, even the cheapest products, in order to make room for the innovative drugs to come to the market. So I think it's an important thing for you. You said we invested in Greece. We are not philanthropists, of course. We expect something in return. But is this the case? Is this the model that Greece should follow?
Amongst others, definitely yes. So if there are cheaper, equal, or better alternatives, it's unethical not to use them. I think there we all agree. And credibility is one of the biggest issues and the most precious values
made
of our
clear that
industry, so we have to be credible.
Somebody will lose eventually.
Definitely, agreed. And
To
it might
today,
be some
to
of
end
our
tomorrow.
companies, yes. But not even, I don't like the discussion focusing too much on substitution, the cheaper the better. I mean, this is not kind of this media market success story we're trying to adapt to, but much more having a healthy assessment of modern medicines, and here I speak also very strongly for Amgen, as we don't have kind of cheap medicines at all. They're all highly specialized cancer medicines and so on. So what is the value? And the value proposition is, in Greece right now, we hear all about the spending cuts for society. What am I as a citizen ready to pay, or my government, etc.? But also don't forget the patient. We have heard the patients. All of us are patients or will be patients. So it's a decision of the society, of us as individuals, as voters. What are we ready to pay?
Yeah.
And what is the value of it? So that's very unconcrete yet in Greece. And also I don't like to hear about referencing NICE, because NICE utterly failed. I mean, life expectancy drops. Childbirth is, after Albania, I think the lowest in Europe. So don't compare with the worst.
Don't envy the British.
No. Also Sweden, life expectancy declines because of the wrong measures. I think we should learn also from mistakes, not copy them because they're better than the current situation.
Maybe one way should be that give prices to new drugs and then decide at what extent you will reimburse them.
No, we can even show it in advance.
Yeah.
I mean, we can show, we have assessments ready by introducing a medicine to every market that it proves its value. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not we can't introduce it anymore. Science for science sake is not feasible anymore. Or just because it has good data, that's not enough. But so we can show sustainability.
Let's be frank amongst ourselves. Every new drug that awaits pricing, it's not innovative. Okay, is it? Is it really innovative?
Every new drug?
That awaits pricing in Greece, is it really innovative? No.
Well, it offers. There's no new drug that offers completely something different. Every drug has trade-offs. Yeah? It has benefits here and some side effects here. And you as a patient or your doctor can decide whether these side effects are worth the trade-off for this benefit. I would be surprised if there were drugs that were worse than what is currently on the market in terms of efficacy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be approved in other European markets. And by definition, these drugs have been approved more recently. So I would be surprised if, I don't know all of them.
So, but if Commissaris, you would be the Minister of Health for 1 week, I don't know, 1 month, in the place of Georgiadis. So, except from the thing that you would give a rise to the price of Crestor, what else could you do? An immediate measure, not one thing. In the pharmaceutical sector.
Immediate measure?
Yeah, just practical measures you could do it.
So, I don't want...
It's a difficult question.
I don't want to go down...
No, it's not difficult.
It's very easy.
It's not difficult.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
We know.
No, but I'll absolutely do it. So what staggers... Coming from Brazil, where the health economy is out of pocket for the majority of people, there's no national health service. The open market encourages freedom of pricing. And my colleagues who promote generics here in this country
It's like a jungle.
benefit from a very high-priced generic versus the original. And I think if we encourage people to compete in the generic world, I think we could immediately gain money from the older, because by definition generics are older products, very good products, but we could very quickly gain some investment that we could share to promote the newer products.
Yeah.
If I can add, there is something around pricing that has been for discussion for the last 5 years. Again, I don't think there is any other country in the history that has had a course of price bulletin like what we've seen in Greece here.
Yeah.
Now, this has been driven also by the complexity of the pricing system. Not only this, also changes in ministerial decision overnight, whatever has happened.
Don't forget, we are the country of Homer. We like the epics. And,
absolutely, fully respected. But the point is, instead of, again, of staying on a system based on 27 countries, with difficulty in collecting the timely data, again, why can we go to a much smaller basket? Euro currency. So you don't have even the mistakes or variation because of exchange rate. And EOF employ few people, not one person and one laptop, few people to run the pricing.
So this would be the one thing that you...
If you tell me about the quick wins, quick fix, this is not rocket science. This is just a matter of I want to do it.
Yeah. I think this would be a priority for the new minister. He knows it very well, as far as I know. That,
this will be good news.
Yeah.
Still,
because
what's
this
about the
means
future,
that
it's more important, no?
Yeah.
the state is in touch with the reality, and that's something that we need, because, I mean, when we look at how it was managed over the last periods, it was shocking, as Roberto said. But I want to go back to the generic pricing, because it will be interesting to be a minister for a week or for a month or even for a day, because a lot of our problems can be solved with like 2, 3, 4 decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The first one has to do with generic pricing. Let's face it, you know, if we look today as how much budget, excess budget, is consumed because of that, is striking.
But
so
someone can say that generic volume is very low in Greece, or the budget, it's only 20%, 15%. Why on earth are you focusing on the 15% or 20%, not on the 8%?
So let's face it, the savings for me has to do with waste.
Yeah.
Where is money utilized that is not useful money? So if we look in terms of the usefulness of the budget, this is going to be the first quick win.
Yeah.
Because this is money that can be, if you compare the prices of generics that we have compared to Scandinavia per tablet, it's, you know, we tell ourselves really how sustainable is the healthcare system.
But on the other hand, have incentives for the prescribing of generics. Yeah.
And again, we're not against it. Huh? If it is done appropriately, it's to the benefit of everybody. It is to the benefit of if done appropriately. And that's why, along with generic pricing, the second most important thing is protocols and appropriate utilization. Because the second source of waste is that a lot of products are used out of their indication in a manner that is not in line and do not drive value for the patient nor the healthcare system. There is savings there. Are we all, you know, potentially damaged to some of this? Potentially, because we don't even know how are we utilized. We have no data on this. So are we ready to face the truth? I think at least in MSD we're ready to face the truth because it's to the benefit of the patients.
Yeah.
So this is something that I believe we need to progress in. I know it's very provocative, maybe, but it will be a solid step toward a sustainable future for healthcare provision in Greece.
The third measure would be give incentives to 30,000 doctors to leave the country, maybe, to go maybe, to be sustainable in the future, because it's a big, serious matter, serious problem.
No, I think there is no doubt that it's a high number of doctors, high number in terms of per capita of doctors. So the other option is just to increase the population, but it will take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You started.
No, I think the point is not really the number of physicians. The point is how the journey of the patient works.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other markets where you have the family doctor that is already a filter in the escalation of the cost for the diagnosis and the treatment. I think it's I don't know who was telling me that. I think already the entire population of Greece in the first 6 months has gone through at least one diagnosed testing.
I was telling you that.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah, yeah.
So to be honest, this I have never seen in any other country. I mean, I've got more tests here in Greece in 2005 than not in my entire life up to 2004.
You're getting older, Roberto, don't forget it.
This is true. This was the insurance asking me to. But I think those are really the points. Of course, I mean, we have to be realistic. It's not a matter of reducing the number of physicians, but organizing the physicians and the system in a more efficient way. Of course, we can do it.
But we are at a point, Matthias, that Greece, you are only a few months here, but 2 years from now, we didn't have any data on anything.
Absolutely.
We have something to talk about, to measure, to evaluate. This is a good thing because now you can ask evidence-based the progression.
Definitely, and Greece has to go on benchmarking. First of all, what my colleagues here said, yes, generic pricing, if you compare it with much wealthier countries, it's ridiculous what we waste there. And to the benefit of a small industry, 10 or 11 million people are punished by paying too much. I don't see that a benefit for society in general. Yeah. So if it was reversed, of course, but few thousand are protected to the disadvantage of millions. Secondly, I'm not so nice with the physicians as my colleague here is. I think Greece has a lot of efficiencies to gain on closing down hospitals, getting rid of a lot of physicians, whether we like it or not. But I mean, this per capita amount is not just unsustainable, but also the quality suffers. I mean, I work now just recently in Switzerland in a country which went through this, and it's very clearly shown that the more centralized treatments are, the better the quality for patients is, and that's what we want to achieve in the end, best treatment for patients.
Yeah.
So we can save a lot of resources there by increasing quality, by centralizing approach, filtering through general practitioners, but then also centralized models. Yeah. As a patient, I would love to have access. 5 minutes from me, it's a hospital. But if as a patient I know this hospital is closed, but quality is not good, it doesn't help us. And most importantly, for us, access to innovation. So nothing will help us, but our industry is driven by innovation. That's what brings us further. And to your point, what is innovation? I'm privileged in a biotech company. Innovations are kind of this dichotomy of me too or quantum leaps. So through innovation, what Lays might think. But look at all the small steps which happened. Chemotherapy, one after another, is not a quantum leap. It's not a breakthrough science, maybe. But if we would wait for breakthrough sciences, colorectal patients would still die like 20 years ago after 3 months. Yeah. They live 5 years now because of all the small steps. So here I want to caution also our ministers and the task force in evaluating innovation. I prefer rather 10 small steps than waiting for a non-existing breakthrough. Yeah. So science is not straightforward, and we have not the luxury, patients have not the luxury to wait for the real breakthrough, which is very subjective. I mean, for me, a big breakthrough is like this. For you, it's big, but as soon as we're all patients, anything is a big breakthrough.
Well,
so
closing the discussion, there is a point in the lack and a shortcoming in communicating the right messages, because it's another thing to say, I'm closing hospitals, because I have a budget problem. And it's another thing to say that I'm closing some hospitals just to make some other better. Okay. It's another thing. And it's another thing for your industry to bombardize the state with letters about debt all the time, about anything, and not innovation. So you will need to change your agenda to the state to help him advance to a next level. Because if you wait for him to make you better, it's impossible. Yes, Roberto.
Can I ask, it's a change of the rules now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I agree with you that we have seen a lot of changes and really also good things. I mean, electronic system, really best practice in terms of timing of implementation. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is, we've been discussing about what has been changing in the environment, in the politician, and so on and so forth. You have interaction with the industry for quite a long time now.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen any change within the industry, in terms of way of thinking, in terms of way of approaching the crisis, in the ways of communicating with the political
it's not
system?
an homogeneous body, the industry. There are different people, and the people make difference. So that's why we made this panel, because from what I have experienced talking with each one of you, you have positive mind thinking, and you want to drive the change that this country needs for the future. Because, let's be honest, you are today, but maybe in 2 or 3 years you would be out of the country.
Unless you know something.
We just said that it's the best country in the world. So just
no, just to know, I will sell the Fuscoto tomorrow. I mean, just to know if I have to.
No, I think you understand what I mean. So I think you are the positive. You can be the positive drives. You represent good reputation companies.
But I would also add one thing. It is our responsibility to get the story out. But I thought Roberto was going to you as a journalist and your colleagues in the press. You also can help us share, because you're the experts at communication. We're the experts at bringing the innovation. And so I think we as an industry have a lot of work to do to engage with you and your colleagues more to tell the story. And rather than say, there are shortages.
We the media have the ability, the possibility, and the urgency to change, because often we media people work negatively. We exploit the negative things, not the positive. We need, and I think we are in a point from these changes in this country, we can really change from ourselves. It's a difficult task, but we can do it if it is necessary, and we see that there will be profits from this, because any media are closing, so we need sustainability too. So this would be the major drive. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it was very nice. I will give the opportunity to have some feedback from the audience. If there are people from MSD, we'll ask Michael. So, is there anybody that could make a remark or ask a question? Okay. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.